Hey, 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 hey! Greetings and salutations to you people of the interwebs. So today we're going to be taking a look at Mastermind Creations, that's MMC's, let's get this right because it's the first in their Infinity line, IF-01 Eris Kultur. Subjugation, it says, from Studio Ox, part of the MMC studio. So, Eris is kind of the original character who, it says in a kind of character biography, can take on the powers and abilities of other characters. And here she is as Kultur, as was their name for Tarn. So it's female lady robot who is taking on Tarn's special abilities, and it's just generally a kick-ass figure. This is one of the ones that they first announced her on April Fool's Day, so people were like, what? Is this a joke? Is it not a joke? You can pre-order now. So it's like, well, they're taking our money, so it better not be a joke. And it's not a joke because she's arrived after a few delays, but here she is. So, yeah, it's a new endeavour. So this is somewhere between the Ocular Max Perfection series, or the MP line, and the MMCs. I forgot what they call mine, but the more chugster piece, the more chuggy scale guys who do a lot of those, like based on IDW characters and stuff like that. So it's somewhere between that. So because she is a big robot, let's start off with some size comparisons, shall we? Here she is next to Siege Deluxe Class Sideswipe. So yeah, you can see, massive, big figure, with a Marvel Studios. Marvel Legends. I wish this guy was involved with Marvel Studios. Then maybe he would not have been fucked over in Deadpool 2. Yeah, it's Shatterstar. Yeah, so there he is. And if you want to compare to a classic G.I. Joe scale, there she is with the Dreadnought Dread Pirate Zanzibar. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is, had there been conventions this summer, I would imagine they would have delayed that announcement on April Fool's Day, and they would have just stealth dropped her at a convention. Because normally these third-party figures, we've seen solicitations for them for years before they come out. Go through the CAD models, all that type of stuff. This was, oh yeah, by the way, we're releasing this figure next month. Well, they did on April the 1st. So it was like a big kind of like, what? This figure, we've never heard of this figure. And we're already getting told that she's coming out. So I think they could have actually delayed that and bought her out, just stealth dropped her at a convention, and she would have been on everyone's lip. This would have been one of those talking points of like, look at this figure that MMC have just dropped, because this is one of the best figures. Absolutely brilliant. Just got her in this pose here at the moment. We'll show articulation and stuff, but it's kind of like this is how I like it. So first things notice, it's got a bit of a backpack, but this is like kind of like that traditional look. It's just two pods. You can move them around a bit, but this is where they actually peg in. So they've got these like two pod backpacks, but that just kind of tells you she's a transformer. I don't mind it so much. Got these big old shoulders. So let's just talk about what's going on here. So there's a ball joint here at the head, and there's also a neck up and down, so she can get a lot of range on there. This is also a battle mask, so you can remove this mask You can see that's actually painted all right. Lots of like little black details and red eyes. And then we get, I always go too quick on these. And then we get her face herself, which is like a big mood. That's got, you know, well designed. It looks like Defazaris's wife that appeared in the Transformers manga for Zone. But yeah, she's got a very stoic kind of face there. Love it, love it. There's no like swappable extra faces to swap out, which is, you know, maybe she's got a face mask obviously, but sometimes like with other MMC stuff, especially on the more masterpiece scale of things, you'd maybe expect some swap out faces, but obviously being her own character, they don't really have any kind of like animation or anything to draw from as to what would be her typical facial expressions. But I like that they've got this very stoic kind of mood face on her. So her shoulders, take them too far. There's a butterfly joint there, and there's a second kind of at that shoulder pin there. There's a butterfly joint, and there's this secondary kind of joint here that can pull that arm up and down. It's a bit weird because there's no like connection here, so it's almost like her arms are kind of floating from an invisible force there, but that's a bit weird. Got spinny tracks there. This elbow joint, so there's a joint there, big black one, and a single, you know, another joint there to give a nice double joint. And also you can turn that secondary elbow joint. There's a ball joint at the hand, and also a swivel that way. And then she's got all the articulation in the fingers, so there's a thumb articulation with several joints, and several joints on the hands. Not my preferred way of doing it. I prefer, because it's very delicate. Even as big as the hands are, it's very delicate. And they're nice, and they've got like nice, sharp looking, pointy fingers. But these days I prefer a interchangeable, you know, hands. I think there's, just give us posable hands we can swap out, that, you know, have several different ways of holding things. I'd much prefer than that potential of like going pinging off a finger somewhere. Yeah, her arm is exactly the same. She does have this cannon part you can separate the guns out from, but it's meant to plug here in her forearm so she can do some pew-pewing. Right, here in the abdominal area. So let's see, there's several twists and turns here. So at the base there's a twist and a turn. There is one higher up, but sometimes some of them are stiffer. Some of the joints are stiffer than others, so you kind of find that you're trying to access one joint and it turns the other one. But yeah, see if we get that, yeah. So there's a top of the diaphragm, it's a turn, and at the bottom here there's a kind of ball joint, so you can get a lot of wiggle waggle, and then there's quite a stiff ab crunch that's got back and forward. But yeah, I find it takes a lot of things with it. It's very stiff. I might there is a screw there, so I might go in there and loosen that up just a little, just a notch. So or it might just, you know, over time it might loosen up a bit. So you have that. I found the legs are a bit strange because the hip joints seem a bit low down, but you know, she can kick out to there. and kick down sideways like that way, like that, and you can turn them to kick all the way up here and turn them to kick all that. So it's just at a weird angle because it's like right in the middle. I prefer if it picked up a little bit. But you can kind of finagle things with this little hip joint here if you want to get things a bit stranger. So there's a swivel again just above the knee. It's got a double jointed knee, and there's also a bend here to pivot at the shin, another one at the ankle, and then there's a move at the tip of the toe, at the toe, and just the entire foot really, and you can move around the ankle as well. So lots of different little pose abilities there with those leg joints. I mean, she's got legs as well. Those are some long legs. But it does mean like the weirdness kind of how the angle is, that if you put a leg straight, that looks very weird. So it is kind of like a kind of like the Yamaguchi type of stuff, and Revoltech, where this figure is only going to look right once posed in, given dynamic poses. That sometimes, like when you try and pose her straight, it just looks a bit awkward. So she's not a figure that if you just like to have your Transformers lined up straight on a shelf in arms down, legs together, it's not the figure for you. This girl needs some space, yeah, to be like a focal point of a collection. Yeah, and other than that, as you can see when we've been going through all the details, all the paints, everything's kind of, I've not seen any bits that are smudged or anything like that. And there's no real bits where I go, oh, I wish they'd painted that bit. It's all done really well. Good choice of colours, good choice of plastic, and all the different highlights. So yeah, really good, really good, really good. So I'll just put a mask back on. In terms of boxes, again, it's just great artwork, tech spec, all that type of stuff. It comes with, again, a tech spec decoder. There's an instruction booklet. There's a card. The bag it comes with is a resealable bag, which is bloody marvellous. The amount of times you buy like these high-end figures and it's like a plastic bag that's been stapled, and so you just ruin the bag when you get everything open. And especially, I mean, she doesn't come with really any extra parts you need to hide away, but figures that come with extra parts you need to, that don't have places to store, at all times, and then they don't come with some kind of sealable bag, stop it. And then you also get this, which is just kind of an art book, because obviously she was a surprise drop, so we never actually saw any of the kind of concept stuff like the CGI models, but they've provided it all here. So it's just a little art booklet, which I think is great, but I think it is a missed opportunity that there's no kind of like teases, because this is the first in the line of this Infinity line. It would be nice to maybe have some kind of tease, even if it was just silhouettes of what else do we expect in this line. Are they all going to be this size? Are they all going to be, this type? Is it all going to be this one character taking on the personalities of different Transformers? We don't know. So it'd be nice to actually have some kind of information on that. Anyway, we're going to attempt a transformation, shall we? Because, I'm sure this video isn't long enough already. So we'll take the gun off first. Right, where do we start? we begin at the beginning. Let's just because these are nice talking points. I like these bits. There's some tumblers in the legs here that go like that. And it's just purely there. Let's see if I can get it out again. That is purely there, just so it doesn't have that gap there in robot mode, which other people, I'm sure, would not give a shit about. I probably wouldn't even, I'd barely have noticed that. So you can move that kind of down. Yeah. Then our legs, we utilise that double joint. I'll go all the way around. You can see the back, well, you probably can't see, it's very dark. On the back of a calf there's a hole, there's a peg on the back of a thigh, so we know. Let's bring those things together. Again, there's a tab on a heel, there's a hole on the top of the thigh, so we want to bring those together. And then there's kind of a little hole there, and it's a similar size to her toe. So you want to stick a toe in the hole at the top of the thigh. It sounds like a kink. Again, I'll do this on this side. I'm sure you can remember what we did. Peg for Life has done the instructions for this on video. So if you're wanting an instructional video, you'd probably best go over to his channel. And do we have a... There's no... That's probably the QR code. If you're looking for a transformation video, we're just enjoying transforming Transformers. We don't. This is not for instructional purposes. This is for enjoyment only. Don't know whose enjoyment, but there you go. All right. So there we have this bit now. All right. So over here, stick around. The arms. So we're going to straighten those up. Then we're going to grab the arms. There's a hinge somewhere, right? So those arms open up here, slide down. It's a bit like and you're going to find kind of the right place to put those in. So yeah, you kind of open these up, shrink it down, and you find the right place. There's a tab there and there's a hole there, so you find the right place that you've shrunk that down in, and that's those arms ready to go. Now these back pods, there's an armature here. You swing those round on and turn it round. This back bit here kind of goes around to the front. The back bit goes around to the front. Yeah, this kind of slice to give that a bigger kind of thing going on. Might have done that too early. So this back comes out. We turn her head around. Try not to knock the mask off while we do it. Yep, and so that back piece goes on there. Let's see. Then we can move this entire cannon section up. So we kind of now have what was on the back pods coming together here. Like so. And we have the armatures. We just need to get the arms in the right position. You're going to go, again, there's some holes here and some tabs here. So it's just a case of finding the right angles that your the arms fold up to. And basically try and get this second, not to face off or mask off even, so I'll do that. Kind of like that. Everything's kind of in its rightful place now. So it's just a case of getting the cannon section, and this can take some finagling, especially if I don't do it correctly. So this section here folds there, and you can swing these guns around. And then kind of, there's a tab there, there's a hole there, that hole there doesn't come into play. There's two tabs either side as well, so those do. So you kind of need to actually, sometimes it works better if you just can take these off. Gives you just a bit more clearance to sort out what you're doing. And then once you've done that, you can add these back on, and they should coincide with their knee joint there. There it is. It's not very often I do robot to vehicle, especially on a video. I mean, on a video, because obviously I do it all the time. Either way, and I've forgotten something. Oh well. There's two joints on a pelvis here that connect to her abdomen to kind of constrict the movement of the cannon just a little bit, not much, but it just a little bit. Anyway, this is her tank mode. As you can see, it's very compact. Got this big, huge turret. It's got 4 movable tracks there as well. Roll around really nicely. Again, all the paint, everything follows through from the robot mode. There's lots of cool detail like rivets and just little hatches and stuff like that you'd expect in a tank, you know, a robot tank, a space tank. And you can also move this turret around, a bit of up and down, a lot of turning around. Let's see if I can pull out the sections that need to tab in. I can't. Oh, there you go. Right. One of the fingers, just to prove a point of just how fragile they are, one of the fingers just decides to fall off. All right. Yeah, it's very good. I think it's just feels like it's just a little bit. That's one nitpick. Is a little bit at the back of the turret. It's a little bit like, oh come on, we could just add something there. Maybe we should add a pilot. Something maybe it stands there. Who knows? Future project might increase that somehow. It might there might be something that fills in there. Who knows? Anything's possible in these crazy times. But yeah, this is MMC's Ocular Max Finity Eris Kultur, or IF-01. I think she was a Planet Steel exclusive. Currently sold out, but there might be other runs coming up, especially because I think she has been selling out. So fingers crossed there'll be more available. And if they are, I heartily recommend getting hold of her. Really, really good figure. I know it's kind of a OG character, so you might not be connected to her, but sometimes a good Transformer is just a good Transformer, and this is a bloody good Transformer. Well, that's been me. If you sticked all the way through to the end, well done. You have the patience of an angel. Or maybe just craving a fist bump in these troubling times. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And because you deserve it, bestow! Bestow!